Welcome to Kempner Sports. My name is Rev Trev, and we are walking into this new series called, actually it's not new anymore, I got so many videos. It's the Show Fantasy Football series that we're doing, and I love fantasy football, and as well, so is my friend, my guest, special guest, Peter Day. We're going deep dive with Peter Day. If you have not seen his bold predictions video yet, pause this, go back. It's nuts. It's wonderful. It's crazy. It's awesome. I love it. I love the boldness of it. But today we're going to be doing a different, but I just want to say welcome to you, Peter. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, buddy. It's great to be here. It's awesome to be in this sort of time. This is the excitement. This is when we all think we're going to win this year. And I got some stuff to take my 5 wins from last year and bring it up to 7 or 8 wins. Come on now.
So we've been playing fantasy football for a very long time together. And I mean, I don't even know, we're talking decades now, or at least one decade. And we've talked, I mean, you and I are always on the phone talking about draft strategies, about different things. You've won the show. I've won the show 3 times. We've both gone down to minor league. We've both come back. It's been nuts. It's crazy. Like, just because you're a great fantasy player, you know, things can go wrong. But we've learned a lot of things on how to draft, what to do with strategies. Every year is a little bit different. So let's talk about 2021 and draft strategies today. So today we want to dive in, help our viewers see what are the recent trends as you're looking, as you're mocking, as doing mock drafts, as you're in these live drafts. What are the trends that you're seeing? Normally people are doing running back, wide receiver, or some kind of thing. I want to just dive in with you and say, how do you think it's going to run this year? What's the best way to compete in a league and can be a contender so they have a chance to win a fantasy football league?
You know, Trev, first of all, let me just say this. We talk about going in another show and you draw up and you go down to minor league or you go to the show. I think it just says something about the quality of the owners that are in the show. Because there's 8 or 10 guys there all the time, and you could lose to any of them. So just kudos to you. It's a good league. It's a solid league. The owners there are all into it. They all have good strategy. And just in the year, sometimes injuries. But thank you very much. The show is a bomb. Anyway.
Well, and minor league is very competitive, and it's actually hard to get back up.
It is.
If you go down, you've got to know your stuff, or you're not coming back up for years.
That's right. Hey, so for draft strategy, something that's super important, and it's something that you're going to hear, and I agree with, is the fact that right now the running back, his value is greater than the wide receiver, and that's the way that I play the game, and that's the way that I'll for the foreseeable future I'll play the game, and that is because the drop off from RB1 to RB15, say, is a huge amount greater than it is from wide receiver 1 to wide receiver 15. So those 15 running backs actually are in the top 30. In fact, there's 16 running backs in Yahoo and ESPN fantasy leagues top 30. So in those 16, I feel like the team that has 2 of those running backs before pick 30 or at pick 30 has the best opportunity to win their league, because after 30, there's still a ton of wide receivers who are going to score you 190 to 200 points. So I do everything that I can, and I believe that the winners of leagues in general, of course, injuries like the McCaffrey injury last year, no, you can't do anything about that. That just sucks for the guy that had to take him there. But in general, the guys that are going to get the 2 stud running backs in the top 25 or top 30 have a legitimate shot with health of winning their league.
Totally.
So I don't think
you know, let's pause there for a second. That has been a method of success for a long time as well. But now without, like, there's so many dual back systems. It's not like before. Like before, you could actually get that one stud and then grab a couple wide receivers, and then you still had guys who were still the workhorse backs. Now you're seeing these tandems like Chubb and Hunt, or whatever, throw in whatever backfield you want to throw in.
Yep.
I heard today that there's only 3 backfields that have workhorse running backs, and everyone else has split backfields. That's nuts to me. And so, yes, you're right. Running back is a premium.
For sure, yeah, and I think that it depends on those particular backs. The other thing that I really, really strongly believe is it doesn't matter where your tight end is. In the other video, you'll sort of see why I think so. But where your tight end, taking your tight end in the top 10 to me makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I can't see any strategy to that, because if you do have a pick in the top 10, say you have like the 4 or the 5 pick, you're kind of in between, and then you're going to end up with a second-rate wide receiver or a second-rate running back anyway. And basically, you're putting all your eggs in that one basket. Simply don't think a tight end like Travis Kelce is going to score 370 points again. Cool. Just say it.
Yeah, and so that's good. So okay, let's talk. So say you get let's just talk about kind of a little bit quickly tiers in that. So the big boys that everyone talking about would be obviously McCaffrey, Kamara. I'm missing somebody.
Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, right? Oh, Dalvin Cook, that's big time. But then there's debate. So there's the Aaron Jones, the Chubbs of the world, the Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, dude. What are we gonna do with Saquon Barkley?
I know. I can't wait to do my running back strategy video for everyone. These are all great. So you could probably go 8 or 9 in a row, no problem, and still be happy. And then on the other side, but what happens if you're not convinced that some of these players, like there's a lot of people are hating on Aaron Jones, they're hating on Barkley because that's a significant injury, and they don't want to draft there. They want something safer. And really, in all honesty, safer is not a running back. Safer is not a running back. How many people have gotten their first overall picks hurt, and they want to go? So they get to that round, and they all of a sudden you're looking at Tyreek Hill, you're looking at Devontae Adams, you're looking
for sure.
You know, whoever slot in whoever you want to put there, Hopkins, Metcalf, Ridley, whatever. There is something to be said of that wide receiver being tempting there. So my question is, where do you feel? Like, do you feel any of those running backs as like where you go, okay, now I'm going to consider the wide receiver?
Yeah, well, I think that you have those guys. I think that you, as far as that safe pick, that stud pick goes, I think that you have 3 guys. I think you got Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and Stephon Diggs. And those guys, especially in PPR formats, are going to be stud receivers. Where they finish in the top 5, I'm not going to say where they finish, but those guys are going to be top 5 receivers, most likely. You like, without barring injury, because of the quarterback play, they have solid quarterbacks, who are quality quarterbacks. Unless there's an injury somewhere, those guys are going to be in the top 5. So when you get to that place, like when you get to say 8, 9, 10, 11, taking one of those guys with one of the running backs is never a bad spot. Because if you end up getting somebody like them with Aaron Jones, with Jonathan Taylor, with Antonio Gibson, even he's going to have a great year in Washington this year. Even the Chargers, even Austin Eckler, you're getting one of those running backs, one of those wide receivers with one of those running backs, you're still coming out of the top 20 pretty nice.
Yeah.
So nice. It's a nice place to be. Those guys especially are right. They're right there, right behind those top 8 running backs.
Right. And so I guess I have no problem with that draft strategy. The challenge is, and I don't want to say that this is how you're going to win your league only. This is probably your best chance. But yes, when you get into that 3rd round, things start going crazy. And you kind of got to be on the fly a little bit. So make sure if someone's zigging, you're zagging. And there are, like you're saying, there's so many great wide receivers in 5, 6, 7, 4 round, right? But that 3rd round, what kind of quality running back can you expect? Like what's a 2nd tier running back Because it seems to me like you're not saying running back, running back. You're open to wide receiver, running back, or running back, wide receiver, running back, or running back, wide receiver, or something, or even tight end. Really, Kelsey's there in that third round or second round. You have to think seriously about them. So I want to throw that out there to you and say, where do you think we're going? Like, how that third round? What kind of running back do you think that we can expect?
Well, I think that if you get the kind of the top, one of the top 8 running backs, and then you end up getting a very good wide receiver. So at that point, you're generally going to end up with someone like Ridley. You might even still get Hopkins in that position. And then you need to come back in the third round and have a running back available to you. And in that place, my favorite guy in that group is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I think that he, again, is going to have in a dynamic offense, right? Like, he is out there. We have arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. There's very few who would argue that. And if you do, he's in the top 3 for sure. You have a great pass offense. You cannot possibly put 8 in the box when they have Tyreek Hill on the outside. Of course, Kelsey is going to be in the flat. No one knows where he's going. He'll do flips and catch it behind his head. So you can't put 8 in the box, and so you have that type of running back. The other side of it is David Montgomery. I really, really, really like Justin Fields right now. He had a great first game in the preseason, and that's going to protect him, David Montgomery, as well, because Allen Robinson, everybody forgets, is that guy who actually has the 3rd most targets and the 2nd most receptions in 2019 and 2020. All of a sudden, if you put a running back in there and a quarterback who can deliver to those guys, David Montgomery. The third guy is, of course, Chris Carson. And Carson is just a little bit of a dark horse, and it's only because of injuries. But if the guy is healthy, say even 15 games, you can count on 10 touchdowns or 11 touchdowns from Chris Carson.
Totally. And that would, you are in a good spot there. So if you went, let's just say Henry, Ridley, and or Hopkins, and then all of a sudden you're going with Carson, that's a great start. Great start.
You give yourself an excellent chance there. And of course, number 4, 5, and 6 are going to be big picks for you. But the top 3, that's coming out of the top 3 pretty good.
Okay. And so because I've done a quarterback strategy video already, then if you're suggesting that nobody drafts a quarterback in the first 3 rounds, right?
Don't you dare touch a quarterback in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah. Those guys, let the other guys do it. Let the other guys do it and say, hey, and put in the chat, great pick. Good Josh Allen in the first round or the second. You know what? I was in a draft today, a mock draft Monday, and and I saw Mahomes go in the first round.
Hey, you know what? I love it when Mahomes does go in the first round, because that just means it pushes everything down to me. That means I'm one running back up the hill, right? I'm good. You go ahead and take Mahomes in the first round. Totally. My process here, it is for you here, Trev, and we're just touching on that quarterback thing. We may go into that further. I'm not sure, but of course the Green Bay Packers, and we know about Devontae Adams, and we know now that Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. So we have the defending league MVP. And in fantasy football, he is currently QB 10.
It's nuts.
So why would we try and take? You know what? Let me tell you. If I get the 7 through 10 ranking, and it's very similar. It's the same 4 quarterbacks, but in a different order in both leagues, ESPN and Yahoo. Justin Herbert, Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers. Those are you're talking, those are the last 4 quarterbacks in a 10-team league. So it's like, you know what? I'm okay. We're good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so if let's just talk quickly about where people are drafting. And so where do you prefer to draft? If you could choose, which we don't in a redraft league, you don't, but like for us in the show, we already know where we're drafting. I'm drafting 8. I'm drafting 8. I don't know. Where are you drafting at? Do you remember? Oh no, wait a minute, you're not in the show right now. Oh, okay. So no, but when we're in the redraft, like, where do you prefer? Do you prefer in the front to get the studs? Do you prefer to be in the middle so you don't pass it up, or do you like to be at the end?
Well, I think that it's really different, buddy, because when you're talking about redrafting and the show, what some of the people who are watching might not know is that there's two keepers. So those guys, those top 16, 18 guys are kept. Right. So at that point, it's almost like the quicker you can get 2 picks in, the better. So if my 2 keepers are, say, Kamara and Hopkins, if I get the 10-11 on the turn, at least I get 2 players very quickly. So if we're redrafting, I like picking in the top 4, of course, right? I would say that if you sort of look through statistics, picks 1, 2, and 3 probably make the playoffs more times than every other position.
Right.
If I'm not there, though, I don't like 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'd prefer to go 9 or 10 and get 2 players off the board right away.
Yeah. So I've been practicing position 8, 9, 10 because in the show that's where I am drafting. But today was that mock draft where I drafted in the front. I just clicked random and it went in. Yeah. 10-team league. I got the 2nd pick.
Nice.
And I'm like, at this stage, I don't care. I really don't care who I get there. McCaffrey went first. And I just said, I'm picking Henry because I've never had Henry in my entire life. But
you still don't because it was a mock.
I know. And yeah, good point. But when it came back around, I was surprised at all the great players that were gone and who I was left with. And it was a totally different strategy. So what I'm saying is you need to be mock drafting different positions. Go right at number 5, go at number 1, go at number 2, go at number 8, go at number 10, go at number 6, and just see what it's like, because it is a different strategy. When you're at the corners, it's awesome at the beginning, but for 9, 10, 8, 7, 6, whatever it is, and you come back, but that wait is a long time.
It is.
You've got to be ahead of the curve. So
it is for sure. Whenever you're at the snake, whenever you're at the bend, you're going to wait. You're going to wait either way. I do want to touch on something as far as running backs go in the top 20, just real quick. Najee Harris, God bless him. I love the guy. I really think he's going to be a good player. I'm a little bit bothered at where they have him ranked as a rookie, because that's a very, very difficult place. And so he is one of the 16 running backs in the top 30 that we're talking about. And I guess if he was left on the board in the late 20s, I might take him. But people think because it's Pittsburgh and because they run the ball and they're that sort of team. But Le'Veon Bell was a special runner. And I think that James Conner.
Sorry. No, John Connor's Terminator.
He's the Terminator. I think that James Conner proved that. And because he's a solid runner, but the durability, eventually it takes a toll on you. So it just a little bit of a concern there. I don't see Harris as a top 15 like he is ranked. Anyway, otherwise I agree. I agree with what you were just saying there. And I think that the tight ends then become, after 30, the tight ends then become interesting. Let's say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we just want to help you guys out with some draft strategy. We hope that it's been helpful. Stuart and I did talk about also what to do after the top 30, top 40 players are off the board. We know that you've got to really prepare for that back end of the draft. That's where it's won or lost. But you can set yourself up in those first 30, 40 picks. And this is what Peter's talking about here. I appreciate the deep dive, Peter. That is incredible stuff. I think it's going to be helping people to not only compete, but also contend for their championships. And so thanks so much for being a part of this video and of this series.
Hey, dude, it's my pleasure. It was absolutely awesome. Thanks for having me, and happy fantasy season to everybody. Come on now.
All right, everyone, just a reminder, there is a subscribers league that is happening I'm so pumped about it. I'm going to be playing in it. If you subscribe to the channel and in the comment section put in, I'm interested, you're eligible to be in this league. It's a 10-team Superflex league. It's going to be amazing. And I'm pumped about it. It's going to be happening in September. And so let us know if you're interested. Please like, comment, subscribe. And thanks for supporting the channel. Share this with your friends. Like literally, people need to hear these conversations and help people, whether they're veterans or rookies in fantasy football. We are here to help. So thanks so much for being here, everyone. And make sure you check out the rest of the videos.